Hey there, nice to have you with us. It's a Tuesday, that means it's legal matters. And as usual, our resident legal eagle is Advocate Lance Brogden. Lancey, nice to see you again.
Good afternoon, Jim. Good to see you, mate.
Yes, good. I got a very interesting thing in the Post this last week.
Oh, Post arrived.
Post arrived, yes. It's this particular account says it was due on the 28th of the 8th, and I got it this last week. So the post did arrive, but yes, a little bit late. From two of them actually, from Sanral, e-tolls. Picture of my car, which I can look at and positively identify as my vehicle.
Indeed, I will confirm that.
Yes, and a picture of my partner Corin's car, which I can positively identify is her car as well.
I can't confirm that, but I will accept that as real.
Good answer. With the news that I owe Sanral 15,946 rand and 45 cents between the two cars on e-tolls. Where do we now stand on e-tolls?
Well, I think this is an important one, and I ask you all to share what we're going to discuss here today. So, by now, one would have expected that the powers that be would have scrapped e-tolls and formally done it. It is just limping on. After the fantastic work done by OUTA, Wayne Duvernay and his team, organisation Undoing Tax Abuse, it drifted away. The question is, why hasn't the chapter been closed? Well, I put it to you that still 20% of people are still paying their e-tolls. And because they're paying, I can see the government coffers receiving money. And perhaps that's the reason why it's lingering on. Right? So as long as some people pay, it's some more than nothing.
Those people would, I imagine, be people who are forced to have e-toll registrations on them, like
the discs, yeah.
The discs,
yeah.
like both of our cars have got them because we got them second hand, and they had them on, which is obviously where they're picking this up from. By the way, the ID number on them is all wrong as well.
Welcome to the world.
But things like car rental agencies and that,
Yeah.
but I think by law they've got to have.
Yes.
They've got to have them on. So must I pay my ongoing e-toll accounts?
I'm formally telling you, no, don't pay, Jeremy, and the rest of you, don't pay them. You don't have to pay them. Even the fact that you have a disc that's attached to your vehicle, for me, is not a good enough reason to pay the e-toll. There's so much in the background and question marks about, don't. If you want to, go ahead. I'm not, it's not an instruction. If you're asking me, as counsel, I would say, don't pay it, whether you are getting on the back of the tags in the car, or whether you're getting just in the post saying your car went through, and don't.
But the rumor has it, Lance, that if I don't pay my e-tolls, when it comes to renew my car license or my driver's license, there's a chance that they won't renew the car license.
So this threat's been around a couple of years now. Okay. It's been thrown out there. It's just a threat. It's just bullying. If you think about it, that was the case. Well, first, driver's license got nothing to do with your driver's license. We've had that chat before. Your driver's license is always valid, even if the card is. But if your car disc license, absolute nonsense. That's a threat to try and make you pay. Imagine if 80% of the people traveling this part of the world cannot get their license for their cars. There's another whole cost implication there. So it's nonsense. It's just a threat.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is what I'll do with this, what I've done with any previous ones.
It's a bit hard for toilet paper, Jim.
No, but they're damn good as firelighters.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
Next, Brian.
Cool bananas.
Right. Let's move off e-tolls now. Move on to traffic fines. What if I don't pay a traffic fine? What's the procedure there?
Right. Well, there are two types of traffic fines, as you've all been exposed to over time. So the one is a Section 56 traffic fine, is where a traffic officer stops you next to the road, says you were speeding or another infringement through a traffic light, gives you a fine there and then, and that fine has a court date on it. If you don't appear in court on that court date, a warrant of arrest will be issued for you. The second is a 341. It's where you went through a camera, something like that, and it reaches you in the post. That does not have a court date on it, and you have 30 days to go back and defend the matter. You might want to touch on that just now, how to go about it. But that one, if you don't then, and they follow up with a summons and a court date, etc., and then you have to appear in court. If you don't then, there'll be a warrant of arrest for you.
Does a traffic fine ever prescribe?
Well, the National Prosecuting Authority in 2017 made it quite clear that if a summons has not been issued within 18 months, it should prescribe and fall away, and generally it does. However, that's not the same in Joburg and Pretoria because we fall under ARTO here. Slightly different system. So I don't want to get technical, but in Joburg and Pretoria, it doesn't prescribe like that because the ARTO is a slightly different system to the rest of the country.
If let's say I get a fine, I don't pay my fine, and the summons is issued, all the rest, I don't pitch in court, can I be arrested? Can I go to prison?
Okay. In terms of the acts and legislation, yes, you can. But what will eventually happen, there'll be a warrant for your arrest. At some point, you'd have to appear. And what's more than likely to happen is you'll get a suspended sentence. But guys, don't get there. We'll touch on now ways of approaching these things. Please don't get to the point where you get arrested and you get dragged in and you go through the process. But theoretically, yes, you can go to jail.
Okay, but then how long do I get to actually pay my traffic fine?
Okay, there are a couple of parts to that. The 341, which you get in the post, if you don't get to them within 30 days, or you don't put in an appeal, you don't argue it, the process will follow, as I mentioned, with a summons, etc., etc. A normal fine, 30 days. If not, there'll be a warrant of arrest for you, and the process will follow. You know these spot fines that you can do I have to pay a traffic fine, a spot fine there? Next to the road, so
Yeah.
a traffic officer stops you. Jeremy, a traffic officer is doing that, it's illegal, you know?
Okay.
And also, I'm not for me to tell anybody what to do, but be careful of making an offer to pay the police benevolent fund or something like that. Bottom line is, guys, is a traffic officer can't stop and take cash. The only time you spot fine is if it is set up in a roadblock with a full facility that takes that and you get a receipt, etc., etc. No, they can't say, if you pay a spot fine of 200 Rand now, this is over and done with. It's illegal for them to do that to you.
Okay. Now you've raised it in a few places already. How do I challenge a traffic fine?
Right, so don't linger. If you get it and you question it, for example, now, that's not my car. It's my car, but not my registration. And all these things happen every day. You write to that traffic division from which it comes straight away with as much proof as possible. You record it, and don't only write to them, because the Act says you can send a fax in that. Go and deliver it there, or get somebody to deliver it with an affidavit saying this is the real facts. Generally, the prosecutor then has a decision to look at it, or must look at it, and come back with a couple of options. One, appear, we're going to nail you, or correct, wrong person, wrong place, wrong vehicle, false number plates. Yeah, the car was stolen. It's a month later, definitely not you. Or they might say, you know what, we'll give you a diminished fine because of the extenuating circumstances. That's what they usually do. So don't hesitate, because they want money in. It goes into the government coffers. The country needs money. But you must follow that procedure. But there's one I want to share with you. And in a section 341, now the one that comes in the post, without already having it doesn't have a court date on it. If within 30 days they don't issue a summons, it prescribes. Okay? And please tell your attorney who represents you, or yourself if you appear, that argument is very firm. Not when you get it, but if the date on it is the summons is more than 30 days after the infringement was allegedly took place. After 30 days, it prescribes. And that's your argument in court. And by the way, I think most prosecutors know it. If it comes 3-4 months later, put that there and say this is 30 days after it in terms of section 341, it's no longer valid. It's not a trick, it's just a fact. Please use it.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you for.
Thank you, Jim.
You can come around to my place for a braai. We'll watch the All Blacks this weekend. And
I'm there like Fred Bear. Thanks, everyone. Please share this. It's stuff you do need to know and you need to share. Thank you.
good one. We'll catch you next week.
Of course, Jeremy. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, everybody. Nice to have you with us. Bye-bye.